This is Mongolian Mindset, and today me and Christian are going to be giving you 5 things you need to know before your time runs out. As you guys know, this is a self-development channel which focuses on MBTI. So our goal for this channel is to make you the best version of yourself, because we believe if you are the best version of yourself, you can get everything you want in this world, right? So we'll be dropping stuff that we do and we think that would benefit you guys as well. Um, and you guys really want to come and join the Discord, that's where you're able to get access to us more. I think that's one of the fastest growing communities. Like we say, it focuses on self development. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. Christian, anything you want to say before we get into this?
We are bringing self development to the MBTI space. We're fusing the two together, okay? Awareness plus action equals progress and success. You're not going to want to click off the video. You're not going to want to get off the channel. Go ahead and subscribe because we're coming with the heat. If you follow these tips, it'll change your life. And I'm not exaggerating because it changed ours, and we're just providing the information to you so you could do the same thing, okay?
And as we say, you got our chart over here. Everyone's on that destination to try to become demigod level, right? Me and Christian in the future are going to be breaking down the metrics and everything, well, how you can measure exactly where you are in your own development and where you need to go. That'll be coming out in the future. It'll probably come out in a course or so. But I think that's going to change the entire space, because I don't think anybody else is really doing that. Okay. So
Now,
yeah.
this presentation that we're about to do was a couple steps that we do ourselves, and Mercer has seen in a couple of books that are super useful to get you up to that, prodigy level or above average at least. So you're gonna want to pay attention, okay?
Yeah, and as always, guys, we're gonna drop stories that you guys can help crystallize the information in your brain. But this is 5 things you need to know before the time runs out, right? Time is always fleeting, whether you realize that shit or not. Um, so so the first thing is the regret minimization framework, right? This is something that Jeff Bezos designed, and it's basically minimize the regrets you will have when you are older. Realize the best time was years ago, but the second best time is now, right? So what this is like, you really want to look at your older self, right? So Jeff Bezos talks about looking at that 80-year-old version of yourself and thinking about what would he regret, right? And that's looking at things from a futuristic perspective, so that you don't get to that 80-year-old version of yourself and you squander your entire life, right? That hurts, right? A lot of people wake up and they squander their whole fucking life, or they get to 50 or 40 or something, and then they squander so many opportunities. So, but with this thing, you can make sure that you are minimizing those possible regrets, right? That's like not doing what you love, right? A lot of people are just in the cog in the machine. They're not doing what they love. They're doing what somebody else loves, right? Being lazy and wasting time. You will always regret being lazy and wasting time. I don't care what anyone says. That's just it is what it is, because a lot of times people don't notice time moves a lot faster than you actually think. Not spending time with your family, right? I know me personally, I can get hit with that a lot because I'm not the most family oriented person. Not taking care of your health, right? You also, if you're gonna, you know, go so hard on something, you want to make sure that you can enjoy that too, right? You don't want to be getting to the end of the road and tapping out with heart attacks or plugs in here, plugs in there, like all these, different conditions, taking all these medications, because that can also be a future for you. You work so hard, you don't take care of your health, that like now maybe you got that dream that you had, but dude, your fucking car is, like, you as a car is destroyed, right? So you want to make sure your engine is preserved as a person. Um, Working hard for nothing in return. A lot of people spin them wheels and don't get nothing in return. So you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you. I can think of Nikola Tesla, right? He got kind of exploited. Don't make sure that's not you.
Mm-hmm.
Not traveling when you're young, right? That's a big thing Christians getting on my ass about a lot lately, is
Mm-hmm.
not traveling when you're young, right? Because the simple fact is that when you're young, it's going to hit a lot differently than when you're old, right? Your back hurt, your knee hurt, your neck hurt, all this other shit. You got all these other problems. But Like we said, this is basically like minimizing, looking at you as an older person, right? That wise person that's running out of time, and he's looking back on his life and what will he regret, right? So without this framework, we would not have Amazon.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bezos had a job where he was paying significant amount of money, and he told his boss what was his idea. He said, Jeff, that's a good idea for a normal person, but not for a person who's making the money that you're making right now, working for us.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm gonna give you a set period of time to think about it. And Jeff Bezos thought about this being future focused,
Mm-hmm.
and he decided to go off on that ledge and build Amazon.com. So we are all fucking thankful that he did that, right? Because it's easy to live in comfort and say no,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Now, I believe that this is actually one of our superpowers, Mercer and I, because ever since we were young, like really young, we would always talk about the future, right? Maybe because Mercer's so future focused and we would talk about it. And we came to the conclusion that because we're only going to live once, we really need to maximize our experience while we go through life so that we don't get to a point where we regret missing out on certain things, right? So we've always found ways that we can experience the things that we want to experience. Um, and it's been very beneficial for me because now it's like when I think about what I want to do, it's from that perspective of okay, this time is never gonna be the same again, right? The time is going down. I'm expending my time, so I need to make sure that I'm experiencing the things that I need to experience, and that is why I've been able to, make money but also have fun, party and stuff while I was younger. This is why I've been able to, experience my single life for an era and then get in a relationship and get married. It's almost like I'm having my cake and eating it too, but it is with intention. It's not luck, right? I feel like a lot of people think I just get lucky. No, no, no. This is all planned. Okay. This is all like, okay, for this era, I'm gonna experience this, and then in the next era, I will experience the next thing, right? And within the time allotted. And then when it comes to relationships, you got to realize, I've been telling Mercer this. It's like you don't want to wait too long because the relationship quality, I would say, kind of devalues over time. It's early relationships are a little bit more idealistic. So I took this concept of regret minimization right into the relationship sphere, and I chose to get in a relationship within like kind of late 20s era. It's kind of a nice mix of idealization with like good rational thought. It's a good time to get in a relationship. So I've been using this framework basically throughout my whole life at this point, and it served me very well in every avenue. So
Yeah. I mean, I'll just say straight up, like I kind of think about Odysseus, right? When the end of the movie, he had to hit the arrow through the three rings, and that's how I visualize life, right? If you do a little bit of thinking, you can hit all three of those arrows,
mhm.
right? That means like you can make the money, you can have the fun, you can do the stuff that you want to do, but you got to do a little bit more thinking, right? A little bit of thinking goes a far. Go
Yeah.
far. And that's why I literally kill people at because I just don't believe anybody sits down and actually thinks or plans shit out, really. And that's why I'm going to clean you out. I'm going to clean you the fuck out.
Hmm.
Because no matter whatever the position I'm in, I'm going to sit down and I'm like, okay, how do I get this? How do I maximize this?
Hmm.
Right? What's there for me? Right? And I'm always going to do that. And you will literally kill so many people because they're just moving out here. Like they're just moving out here like zombies.
Right.
They're just like fucking zombies, you know.
And
But
because
like I said, just
because they don't plan, they're so inefficient that it's almost like they can't get everything out of life, right? Because they're wasting so much
yeah,
energy. For example, the whole working hard for nothing in return. Like if you don't have a plan for your money will basically evaporate. You will spend it on things here and there. You won't know where it's going. But because we have a plan of, okay, when we get paid, we invest a certain amount, blah, 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 we ensure that we're not working for nothing. We're going towards somewhere, okay? Whereas other people, most people, they don't have a plan for their money, and that's why they work the same job and get nowhere. They stay in the same job, no investments, no nothing, right? But when you have a plan, like Mercer is saying, then you actually get to achieve everything you want to achieve. So it's very important to have this regret minimization framework. Like you
Mhm.
you got to make sure that you're not wasting your life. Okay.
Yeah.
Because imagine being the person who basically is just like a workaholic, right? But they don't have a plan for their money and they don't have fun at the same time. Now you're getting the
And
worst
they
of
don't take
both.
care of the health. And they
It,
don't take care of the health.
yeah. So and then you like die early because you got, a disease or whatever from overworking yourself. Like you can't do that. You have to have a plan. So
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, guys. All right, Christian, go for this.
all right, productivity mask. Okay. We keep ourselves busy with things that don't improve our lives. This is more subconscious, but it decreases the time we have overall. It leads you to going around in circles. So make sure you identify at least one thing you did yesterday that had no ROI and consciously stop yourself from doing it in the future. Awareness is king. Okay. So I'm very good at this also. I feel like this is my second superpower. Okay. I don't sweat the small stuff. I hate wasting time. In fact, like a lot of times, like people over prepare to do a task that has no ROI and it wastes even more time. I hate doing that. So a lot of the times I will pick
Christian, wait, wait,
what?
wait. Make sure you explain what ROI is, because some people might not know.
Okay, ROI is return on investment. It's an activity that's gonna give you back something for it. Okay, so like basically, working has ROI because you make money essentially. But like, for example, cleaning your place doesn't have a lot of ROI. It doesn't pay you money. There's nothing you can invest that's gonna give you back in the future. It's just good right now, right? So, but you still have to do some of those things, right? So the thing is, like, those things that don't give you ROI, you want to do as fast and as efficiently as possible because you want to focus on the things that actually give you ROI, right? So a lot of the times when you have money, you will pay others to do those tasks for you. But a lot of people don't have the money to do that. So what I would recommend is like just find the simplest and most efficient way to complete those tasks so that you can save yourself time on those things. And then like what I notice is that people that don't plan and don't think about ROI or long-term thinking, they don't have it. They will spend a lot of time doing these low ROI tasks and think they're being productive. Like they will like over organize their pantry, over organize their place, or like I don't know. They'll pick a task that they'll mow the lawn every weekend, like my dad does, or whatever. And I'm like, man, you could be building your business every weekend and just pay somebody to mow your lawn, right? And that would be a way to kind of lower wasted time, essentially, get more ROI for your time. So awareness is king. Know that like these productivity mass activities are stealing um potential from you and progress from you, okay? And make sure you minimize them.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just say in general, basically what it basically means here is that uh people are wearing these productivity masks and they think they're more productive than they really fucking are, right? They're sitting on the couch, they're fucking doing nothing, they're fucking playing video games, they're, just burning fucking hours. And at the end of the day, that has no return on investment for the future, right? So you're doing these things and thinking, oh, I don't have enough time for everything. But you're just not committing to anything with actual real return on investment, right? And that you'll see that with a lot of people, right? Oh, I don't have enough time to do this, or it's not like it's like what Arnold Schwarzenegger says. Okay, everybody has 30 minutes to go work out every day, even the damn president. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a lot of times people get in these productivity masks where they think they're more productive than they really are. They're looking at themselves like they're really doing something, but really what they're doing is just burning gas.
Yeah.
Burning gas. And the thing about life is anybody can get from A to B, but if you go to C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, you will never get to B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you got to remember that. And guys, the big thing about what we teach over here is awareness is king, right? With the awareness, you are able to stop yourself and say, what's one thing that I did yesterday? Yeah, a lot of this stuff like people like gloss over, but it's important to say, what did I do yesterday? Okay, reviewing that like it's film, right? You literally reviewing it like it's film and like, okay, well, I did this yesterday. That was very unproductive. Let me not do that again for the future. right? And you're slowly eliminating these things, right? And I'm telling you, within 5 years, you're gonna see your whole life transform right before your eyes, and you're gonna be the person that you want to be, and you're gonna be happy, and you're gonna be grateful that you subscribe to this fucking channel. Okay.
Bro, I'm gonna give you another example because this is super important. I feel like a lot of people stay where they're at forever because of this, right? Because they think they're so busy, they think they're so productive, but they're not, right? These are the people who like, they live in a house and the house is perfectly fine, and they're paying down the house, and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna remodel the kitchen or remodel the bathroom or whatever. Bro, that's wasted money, wasted time, wasted resources. Like, it's not giving your home that much value or any at all. Wasted time and energy and resources. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Right? Or they'll spend their whole weekend like, oh yeah, like, yeah, our weekend was so busy. I mowed the lawn, I went to Lowe's and got supplies for the shed or whatever. Bro, wasted energy, time that is meaningless. It doesn't give you anything back. You didn't learn nothing, you didn't get no research from it. Terrible. And then they'll do that for 20 years, and that's why they don't progress to the next level, right? Because they're not thinking about, okay, how is this task going to give me back in the future? Another example, right? Traveling for traveling's sake. Like, people think that traveling or buying a car, that's another one, bro. They're like, oh, like, yeah, I achieved my goal of buying this car, bro. It's a liability. You added a liability to your life that you had to pay interest on. That's not an ROI
Oh,
task or activity, okay?
yeah, I'll say anything with a motor or wheels depreciates with value.
Yeah,
Anything with a motor or wheels depreciate in value, right? That's not something that over time continues to go up. That's something that drops drastically. Like, for instance, I mean, this is going on a fucking subject, but like if you buy a car, like a 60% of the value drops within 5 years.
yeah. Like,
Got to
buying a
remember
car,
that.
buying a car is not a goal. Traveling for traveling's sake is not a goal. I like traveling. I've traveled a lot this year, but I don't think that I'm achieving my goals by going to go travel, okay? That isn't doing nothing for my goals. If anything, it kind of holds me back a little bit from my goals. But it's a luxury. Like, you go travel as a luxury. And then another thing is, like, they'll be like, "Oh, if I travel, I'm going to get all this information that I'm going to get back. That's the ROI." Bro, if you go to a beach in Mexico and you go to a beach in Miami, it's still a beach. You didn't get anything from that, okay? So don't delude yourself. Don't be delusional. Look at what you're doing and think, okay, am I wasting time and resources here, or am I actually improving my life? Okay. Be honest with yourself. Awareness is king. Okay?
Mhm. All right, guys. So this goes back down to the responsibility here. Um, we are always at a crossroad. Every action you take or don't take will produce consequences. I think this is something that people don't even visualize or see. But no matter what action or anywhere that you are in life, you're at a fucking crossroads. Whether you do nothing or you do something, like those are going to impact your life, no matter what you do. Right. So you got to always remember that, like, you as a human being are always at crossroads. Always. It's like I always visualize, I see those damn crossroads when I'm like, oh shit, like I can see that bitch like it's fucking like it's there. Um, but you just got to remember that, like, hey, they're there, man. Whether you do something or you don't, it's there. When you blame others, you're actually giving up your power to make change and improve. Like sometimes you will see people with this mindset that they didn't have the perfect household, they didn't have the perfect family, they didn't have the what you call it. Man, that just basically takes away the power for you to improve, right? Because you're looking at things that you didn't have instead of thinking like, okay, well, these things happen. Well, how do I improve? Right? How do I use those circumstances to be better? Because there's a lot of times where people don't realize a lot of like shitty shit people go through. It actually motivates them later on in life. Okay, people don't realize that, but it's just a switch in the gear to the mind. Blaming others only gives you a short-term satisfaction, but hurts your long-term growth. Like, yeah, it feels good to blame Christian right now for like why this shit's not working, but what does that really do in the long term? It doesn't give you shit, right? It feels good to blame somebody else for why you fucking sucking ass. And trust me, I generally have a problem with blaming other people. Like, I will blame somebody else because I'm like, yo, you fucked up this part. well, I told you to do this, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like chess, right? Chess is a very humbling game because when you lost the game, you fucked up. You can't look at nobody else. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror, and then you gotta make the adjustments, right? And that's how you gotta see a lot of things that happen in your life, right? I don't give a damn if you played it perfectly, right? I don't give a damn if maybe it was that person. You should always kind of think of, okay, what can I have done so that this doesn't happen again, right? It's okay to make a mistake, but it's not okay to keep making the same mistake. Um,
Hmm.
Remember, your future is in the hands of your present actions, right? Without the present actions, you will never have the future that you want, right? That's some bullshit, baloney type shit where you hoping and praying on some fucking dream or something. But if you're not doing the actions today, you will never have the future that you want, right? So get off your fucking ass, stop making fucking excuses, and get it fucking done. Nobody is coming to save you. The reality check here, guys. Reality check. Nobody is coming to save you. You could be waiting your entire life for someone to save you, but that will lead to a squandered life. Some people just sit there and wait.
Right.
Guess what, guys? Time keeps moving. Time keeps moving. Time keeps moving, right? Before you know it, your time's up. I mean, realistically, you got to look at life like you got 80 summers. Picture that 80 fucking summers. Don't say you got 80 years, 80 summers, motherfucker. You're responsible for changing your life, right? And this his fault, her fault, their fault, not me. It just leads to nowhere. Okay.
Yeah.
Christian, anything you want to say about that?
Yeah. I just wanna say people don't realize that every upbringing has a double-edged sword attached. Okay. There's benefits and negatives to the upbringing. Okay. So like the people who are born with a lot of privilege, I think what people don't realize is that a lot of the glory of life is stolen from them at birth because of that privilege. For example, you know, I grew up kind of middle class, right? If I end up changing my family situation, then I'm essentially the hero of that story, right? But for example, Jaden Smith, Will Smith's son, he will always be Will Smith's son. Will Smith is the hero of that story, no matter what Jaden Smith does. So like a lot of glory got is already automatically stolen from him. I would not switch places with Jaden Smith, even though he is more privileged than I, because I want to be the hero of the story. I want to play the game of life and win the game of life my way. I don't want to follow nobody's coattails, essentially, right? So that's the double-edged sword thing that people ain't really taking account of. Another thing is like a lot of people who grow up with less privilege end up having more will to succeed. That's why immigrants do so well in America a lot of the time, because when they come from a different place, they they come with a different perspective. They weren't born into privilege. They traveled into it, and then they realize and they appreciate the privilege they have when they get here. So they outwork a lot of the Americans that are born here. Okay, that's where the immigrant mindset comes in. So don't really focus on what you are lacking as far as like where you were born into. Just use the cards you're dealt the best way that you can, right? Another thing is, if you've messed up throughout your life, that doesn't mean that's who you are. It just means you've been acting in the wrong ways. And that's a clear distinction, because when you say, okay, I am a fuck up, I am stupid, I am fat, you start to create the identity thing that I keep mentioning on and on about every video, because it's very important. Remember, when you build an identity, your body creates homeostasis over that identity, and it always brings you back to that identity. So the negative identities will mess you up long term. You don't want to create those. And if you have created those, you need to work really hard to break those so that you can start leveling up. Um, let's see, what's another thing? Remember, your future is in the hands of your present actions. Living in the present is important because the present is going to dictate your future. Okay, you don't want to always live in the future and take no action in the present, because you're going to go nowhere as well. That's another thing. um Anything you want to say, Mercer? I think that's
Yeah, I would say like a lot of people may, come from like a challenged background or whatnot, or like life wasn't really going their way, or they kind of done a lot of shady things in their life. But you got to ultimately remember, this is just something I took from one of Atachi things. It's like you don't know who you really are until the seconds before death. And what that means to me is that you have the ability to change who you are at any given time. Right. Only time you don't get time to change is when it's all over, when it's said and done. Right. So it doesn't matter if you've been a shitty person for 40 years. Okay, you can change your life, and people will mostly remember. People got short fucking memory spans. So you could be a shitty person for 40 years. You decide to change your life the last 10 years, and you can make great change for the world. Right? It's never done. It's never said and done until the last moments. Right? But when the last moments are here, you know who you are.
Hmm.
So that's what I
And
got from
and
that.
and just to repeat, stop crying about people being born into privilege, okay? Because at least, as a good parallel, when I play video games, I put my shit on hard mode, okay, to have fun. I don't put it on easy mode because that's some soft shit, okay. So I'm glad I wasn't born into some easy shit, okay. I'm glad that I'm the one making the changes in my life. I'm the one who's going to kind of create a different situation for my family, okay. It gives glory to your life. Start framing it that way so that you could get over this whole victim mindset bullshit, okay. So yeah.
Mhm. All right, Christian.
All right. So surround yourself with the right people. Okay. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I'm going to add something to that. Not just the average of the 5 people you spend most time with, the average of the 5 people you follow on social media and take advice from. You got to add that to that as well. Because in the modern era, a lot of the mentors we have online, a lot of the mentors you have in your life come from the online, okay? From the online space. So you got to be careful who you're consuming because all their thoughts are bleeding into your mental processes. You got to remember that. Not always, but generally, if you are lazy, you will pick friends who reflect that. That goes back to the identity principle that I mentioned earlier. If you have an identity of being a stupid, lazy person, unproductive person, you probably surround yourself with people that are that way because they won't challenge you to act differently, right? Because people don't like to be challenged and they don't like change. The circle of friends you could choose can either push you or keep you stagnated. Now, as I'm gonna give a positive to this. You don't need that many friends that are actually productive, in my opinion. You just need one or two that are close, like for example, me and Mercer, we have a group of friends. Not all of them are productive. Okay, not all of them want to level up. But I know when I go to Mercer, he gonna challenge me to level up, and I'm gonna challenge him to level up. Okay, and that's all I need. Now, if you have a different personality type, that might change. You might need more people. But as far as I'm concerned, I only need like one or two friends that really push me to do things. Another thing, change your environment. It can lead to change in yourself. Funny fact: the predictor of how much money you will make in your life is not actually what family you were born into. It's actually the net worth of the people around you, the surroundings, right? Your neighbors and stuff. That's why college is actually very powerful, as opposed to how like people say online. When you go to college, let's say you were born in a poor neighborhood. When you go to college, you go to an area where the average net worth is higher. It could actually change your mindset and level you up even more than where you were born. Okay, it's more important to surround yourself with competent individuals. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. I think it's very important to have like not everybody is going to be like me and Christian, right? Because like I'm just a highly motivated person myself. I don't really need like people to be around, but generally speaking, it will make your path easier, right? Because the simple fact is that people don't realize that you can only do so much by yourself, right? The bigger, like some of the biggest advances I've made is usually when a friend has told me something, told me good advice or something. Then I, research this more and I start implementing that and using that. Let's say, for instance, my friend Bruce Stricker, he's the one who got me into stocks. He was talking about stocks so much. I was like, man, what the fuck is this stock shit, right? I started reading that shit. I'm like, man, I'm kind of like, I got an obsessive personality. So I started reading that shit and I just start digesting it. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And then I took it to Christian, and then Christian's in the stocks too.
Hmm.
Um, but see, the simple thing is like me and Christian, we kind of have the same thing. Like it doesn't matter if we're playing a video game. It's like I want to choke Christian the fuck out. I do. And he wants to choke me the fuck out. So I know if I go a certain way, he coming right behind me, and then I'm coming. Like
Mhm.
that's just how we are. Like naturally speaking, no matter what it is in life. So we take that same thing and apply it to anything. So like my friend who taught me about stocks, we been passed him up. Like he probably couldn't even have a conversation with us when it turns to when we're talking about stocks, or like indicators to predict how well a stock will do over 10 years, the intrinsic value calculation. And you don't know shit about that, but that's just who we are. That's just how we do things just naturally. But you generally want to be around somebody who is going to push you like that. I know sometimes I'm like, I kind of get like stagnant sometimes, not stagnant, but I'll get like in this like doubt mindset. And Chris is like, bro, what the fuck you doing? Like, and it kind of, slaps me right out of my doubt. And then I'm like moving forward again.
Mhm.
So it's very important to have like-minded individuals around you, and just in general, it's gonna push who you are. Like, Christian's not the biggest fan of reading books, but like for me, I cover his blind spot because I'm the biggest book reading motherfucker ever. But like I be reading all the fucking time, right? And then like me personally, I just be like, hey Christian, bro, this is what I read in this book, bro. What you think about it? Like, what you think about it? Oh, bro, that's good as fuck. Blah blah blah. And then we just keep going like that. That's always kind of been like our type of thing. So
Mhm.
like it's very important to surround yourself with the right people, because the simple fact is that we all do have faults, right? But somebody else can come in there and they can cover your faults, right? I say, by myself, I feel like a king, but with my friends, I feel like a god, right? Because I can instruct them to go the routes that I need them to go on to do certain things, and they can bring things back in. And like you try to attack my friend there, I got him because I overplanned, right? You try to do this, Christian got you right there. You know what I'm saying? It's like an unstoppable like Exodia card, whipping
Mhm.
out the Exodia. So that's why that's really important. I know a lot of people say, this is like a more TE thing, but I just think you're a fucking moron, right? It is what it is, and it's probably why you're not where you want to be in life. Let's be fucking honest.
Mhm.
It's a fucking hard pill to fucking swallow. I don't
Ano-
give a fuck if you're a TI user or a TE user. You need to learn these
Another
habits.
thing that people don't realize is like you can only see as far as you can see, right? But when you add other people, they bring other possibilities that you didn't even, fathom. And I experienced this because, like, obviously, I was born in Puerto Rico, so like I was in a smaller school. It was a smaller pool. But then when I moved to the U.S., I was like, holy shit! Like, there's people that are way more athletic than me. There's people that are way better at math than me. There's people that can do this and that I can't do. Right? All these possibilities. It's like my world opened up. And yeah, it was kind of like a humbling experience. It was like, okay, I'm not hot shit like I thought I was. Right? But at the same time, it's like, hold up, there's all these avenues that I haven't explored yet that I could improve upon and like draw upon and stuff like that. And it opened my mindset up. And I talked to Mercer about the possibility, like if I hadn't moved to the US, and he's like, Mercer told me, he's like, you'd probably be way smaller, right? Like as far as like physically, because in the US, weightlifting and being bigger is kind of like promoted. So I wouldn't have got to the physique level that I have if I would have stayed in Puerto Rico, because the average size of the people around me would have been smaller. So I wouldn't even seen myself as it being possible to get as big as I am now. It's kind of like that same
Well,
concept. So.
it also goes back to the environment, right? Change the environment, you can change yourself, right? Because unfortunately, you let's just say you go to fill out your aquarium, right? You go to fill out your aquarium, right? If you're somewhere where it's not really that great of stuff, then you're going to be there probably somewhere, even if you're like a monster or something, you're only going to reach a certain level. But if you put yourself in an environment where you really need to, grow and grow to be on the top, you eventually get there, right? You'll get there a lot bigger than that one guy who's in that small ass pond.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
okay. Know the last one is know who to take advice from. I think a lot of people struggle to do that. And I've been talking about this a lot on this channel. I feel like going in the future, there's going to be a war on the truth where A lot of people are listening to people that commit a lot of logical fallacies, right? Or shit that sounds true, but when you really look underneath it, it's not fucking true at all. I think a lot of people make that mistake, especially with this YouTube era, and I think it's kind of scary, to be honest. But naturally, if you don't have, if they don't have what you want, don't listen to what they say. That's from Alex Ramosi, right? That basically just says like, if they don't have the outcomes, basically, I'm not listening to you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Anybody can say, "Oh, well, you should listen to me," but bro, if you're so good, where are your outcomes? Like, you gotta fact check people, man. Like, oh, you so good at this, you so good at that. Well, where the fuck your outcomes at? Why is your outcomes piss poor? And that's a fucking hard truth pill for a lot of people to swallow. Like obviously, you should look into like different like type of things, right? Um, like you should look at like okay, maybe this guy's more knowledgeable than this other guy, and maybe this guy has the genetics for that. But on a just a normal level, you should always look at people's outcomes, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because outcomes speak volumes of itself. Um, if you wouldn't trade lives with them, you should really evaluate listening to them. Like if you wouldn't trade lives with somebody, then you probably should listen to them, right? If you listen to somebody who don't make six figures and all this other shit, how you think you're gonna make that? How you think you're gonna get there, right? They ain't feed you the same bullshit that's keeping them from doing it, right? And then it goes back to that like black root shit, you know. You don't want to get filled with that because once you get in the negative, that circle speeds back into itself, speeds back into itself, and speeds back to itself. And then you got to do this Herculean effort to get out of that, right? So we always preach, try to keep your ass in the positive, right? Because the positive will keep feeding on itself. And once you get that positive system like going, spinning good, it just keeps going, right? People who you take advice from will influence the future that is available for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? They'll start getting in your head about stuff for the like that is available for you. Um, and a lot of people don't. I just don't understand. Like maybe it's just like they don't have the comprehension to sit down and actually break things down and think for themselves. But a lot of times you should really do that with a lot of stuff that you digest from other people, right? People just take whatever some content creator says and just fucking run with it, and you're a fucking moron. Um, if you want to be the best, you have to study the best, right? This is what we always talk about over here: is using the shotgun, right? If if I am learning something, I'm studying the fucking greats.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If I want to learn basketball, I'm watching Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. I'm not watching fucking somebody from my high school, right? If you want to be the best, you have to study the fucking best. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people waste a lot of time because the best have got to that particular that spot for a reason, right? The little things here and there that they teach you some can speed up your time a lot faster. I know people say, the 10,000 rule thing has been debunked, but these like learning from the greats can speed up your level to mastery.
Yeah. And
Don't
see,
listen to idiot.
and this is very important because, like Mercer said, we're going into an era of misinformation. And unfortunately, a lot of people didn't really get the traditional education component of life because they just like basically just memorize the information, put it on the test just to pass school, and then either they didn't go to school or whatever. Because the thing is, like the people who sell misinformation are playing on your ignorance on these topics, and then luckily, Mercer and I are highly educated on a lot of topics, so you really can't get over on us very easily. And if I don't know a topic, then and you try to sell me some bullshit, I'll go research it first and then come back to you. Like I don't play that shit. This is very important. I don't let people take advantage of me. And like I said, it goes back to the wasted time thing, right? It's like all these people selling all these routines, like health routines that are complete bullshit. They're wasting your time and energy. Like you spend hours like doing freaking cold plunges and this and that and blah blah blah, and they don't do anything, and you're wasting all this energy that you could be spending on like building resources, doing high ROI stuff, right? So it's actually very costly. You don't see it as costly, but it is costly because it's wasting your time, the most valuable resource you have. And as far as like the whole you wouldn't trade lies with them. You should really evaluate why you're listening to them. Like I said in the previous slide, it's like you're the average of the 5 people you consume now. It's not just the people you're around, it's the people that you follow on social media and the information you're taking in. So if they are not living good lifestyles, why are you following them? Why are you listening to them? If you wouldn't want to have what they have, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, just be aware, man. Just be aware. I think definitely be aware that like people can make things sound true, right? And then you gotta actually go and like research that, and you will find out that a majority of that shit is actually bullshit, right? And then they like may try to spin it and say, well, the internet is hiding the correct information. See, that's like a slippery slope of the dumb shit, you gotta be very careful with shit like that.
You know,
Um,
it, and I think like a lot of times, because people have asked me like, Christian, how are you so chill? Like, how you don't have a lot of anxiety? It's because I don't sweat the bullshit. I like filter away the bullshit and I just do the high ROI stuff. And because my life is kind of efficient in that way, I'm just doing the high ROI stuff. Then I can kind of relax because I know I'm not wasting my time. But all these people who are taking all this information from everywhere, they're paralyzed by the amount of information. It's so much information that they just feel anxious all day because they don't know the proper step forward. They think, okay, maybe I'll try this. No, hold up, maybe I'll try this. And then the next month they're like, no, that wasn't good. Let me try this. It's like, bro, discern the information. Don't just take it in and act like Mercer said, like a zombie. Okay, use your brain, research the thing, learn the information, and then see if it works. Okay, it's not. Don't just take everything all in at once. That's analysis. That's paralysis by analysis. Like, don't do that. Okay.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that people are seeming to wake up from is the little red pill mindset. That era is dying fast, right? Because it just taught guys how to be a little bit more toxic and not even be able to maintain a relationship. Never ever does it talks about maintaining a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even if you do attract a person for you, there's a lot of things that actually go down with maintaining a relationship. There's a lot of times where you gotta pick the battle, you gotta understand the situation, you gotta let some things go. Uh, and with the red pill shit, good luck, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
See, that's another example of how Mercer and I can kind of use and discern information. I could read that stuff and watch that stuff, take what I need from it, throw away the bullshit. That's what people can't do, or they haven't shown me that they can do it overall as a whole society. So it's actually very dangerous for those people. Like critical thinking is a superpower. Like how they say, common sense is not common. Well, that is what that is. It's like it's maybe common to me, but then what I realize is like people are not good at discerning and critical thinking overall. So
right. And as always, we show our references and where we got our information from. But yeah, guys, that was a fun one.
uh,
Like we say, guys, you really want to understand these four things here. I think if you are able to pay attention to these things, you'll get a lot further in the future. You'll be able to increase your productivity and you'll be able to get the dream life that you want for yourself, right? And that's what we teach over here. And if you want to be a part of that, you join our Discord. Like we talk a lot about MBTI, but it's mainly focused on self development. Like I don't give a fuck what problems you got. I don't give a fuck what situation you were born in. Okay, how are we gonna change that? How are we gonna navigate that? How are we gonna inspire other people, right? Because the things over here, we're just building on the positive and the positive, and we're moving. And you want to say you were a part of that, okay? Christian, thing you want to say?
yeah, start evaluating how you're living your life and start to get rid of the stuff that doesn't serve you, the stuff that doesn't have ROI. Start to actually think about that, because I think the main weakness that people have overall is that they don't associate their tasks with having a cost, right? Like if it wastes time, then that's a costly activity. You have to see it that way. Also, like I said, buying a car is not a goal. Okay. Traveling for traveling's sake, not a goal. Okay. Those are luxuries and kind of like rewards that you give yourself, but don't treat them like their life's purpose because you'll go nowhere fast. You'll just stay baseline doing nothing. Make sure you do the ROI stuff first. And then if you have energy and resources available, then you take your luxuries and you enjoy them, because I enjoy them, but I do them with extra resources after I've done the good stuff first. Okay. Make sure the people around you are serving you. Don't surround yourself with people that are going to hold you back. I know it's hard, but put yourself in a bigger pool of people. Even if those people are better than you, it'll challenge you to rise above. Don't focus on your lack of privilege. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword. People that are privileged have their glory stolen from them. That's how I see it. That's the mental frame that I use. Having a lack of privilege allows you to have more glory when you actually succeed. It's like playing the game on hard mode. Once you finish the game, you feel like you did something more meaningful. Okay. So lack of privilege could give you that opportunity. See it as an opportunity, not a cost. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I would just say like what you said right there, with the hard mode, you got to remember like people are not cognitive of the skills that go into a lot of things, but skills transfer over, right? You may learn something on something in hard mode, and it may challenge, you may use that in another avenue of life, right? And that could speed up that transition to where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very important. People don't really notice those skills on people's foreheads, and they just transfer over. Very important to do that, but mainly, guys, you got to understand that you only really have 80 summers, right? Like you got to stop thinking about 80 years and think about 80 summers, because it makes it more finite in your brain. And realize that you got to cut the things that aren't leading to like productivity or where you do want to go, because time is running out, right? And before you know it, you'll be 50, 60, looking back and thinking about how you squandered your life. Maybe you're looking at your kids and they're enjoying the life that you wish you had. And like I told me and Christian when we were young, we don't want to be looking back and jealous of our own kids. So
Right.
we got to go out there and make things work.
And on that note that Mercer just mentioned, also, I just want to add this. Uh, Experience is valuable. Like as far as even if it's not productive, but it's something that you really want to do. For example, like we partied a lot in our 20s. Like we went out a lot, drank a lot, partied, and people see that as a waste of time, and it kind of is. But do I regret it? No, because we have that experience. We built the stories, we built the experiences, right? So you gotta, even if it's not productive, if you feel like you're gonna regret not doing it later, then prioritize it, but not over the high ROI stuff. High ROI stuff goes first, then experiences, and just don't waste your time on experiences that are like kind of meaningless to you. That's it. Like spend guilt free on the stuff that you care about. That's I got that from Ramit. He's a financial YouTuber. Spend guilt free on the things that you really care about, even if they're not productive. But if you don't care about them, don't spend your time on them. Okay. Don't even worry about them. Try to do them as efficiently, as quickly as possible so that you could get to the meaningful stuff. Okay. So,
All right, guys. Well, we're going to see you guys on the next episode, man. And we're
yeah.
out.
Peace.